Good afternoon. This is Jim Whitehead of All Power Group and Phoenix Animal. Today I'm going to do a presentation. Of course, it's animals, which is, boy, what a great job. Yes, I've been doing lately the wonderful rescue centers that do so many different things and don't have cages. And I mean, I can go on and on and on. I'm going to continue that series. But, you know, I saw this, and again, it just made me feel like I wanted to do this. So what we have, this is, and they call Frida the adorable canine hero. Frida worked for the Houston Police Department. So for 8 years, Frida the canine was a legend in Houston Police Department, a loyal partner and a tireless hero. She faced dangers most of us can only imagine. There she is, and she's beautiful. I don't even know if someone didn't like animals, if they looked at Frida and said, oh, what an ugly dog. No, they're not ugly. They're wonderful. Anyway, after a career of staggering success, sniffing out over 3.2 million in narcotics. There she is. She got them. Her final mission didn't involve finding a single gram of contraband. Her last and most emotional mission was simply to say goodbye. This is the story of a hero trading her badge for belly rubs. You know. Anyway, as you see what you're seeing here, all of the canine dogs, you know, they don't have cats, but cats would be smart in a different way. So I guess I would think any animal can fit into any discussion. But all canines have a handler. And I guess you might also say it's like their partner. You know, and police officers have, you know, partners, and some of them are partners for years. Anyway, the legend of four-legged officer is just absolutely astounding. The bond between a canine and their handler is everything. They work, train, and live together 24/7, building a foundation of absolute trust. For 8 years, this was Frida's life alongside her human partner. And you know, I've never been a police officer. I'm probably not going to be one now. But if they were like in a group of you know, we're all sitting, a group of officers, and somebody said, hey, which one of you would like to have an animal as your partner? It wouldn't be a point of saying something bad about, you know, a human partner. But boy, I'll tell you, I would jump at the opportunity. Anyway, the numbers from her service record are staggering. Frida was responsible for seizing 33 kilos of heroin. That's 1,000. Another amount was 1,560 kilos of cocaine and 12,000 kilos of meth. And I know what a wonderful opportunity. I know we get into where she knew what to do. She knew what her job was. She knew, and as you know, especially dogs that have long noses, they have a better sense of smell than my little Jamie that has kind of like a little short little nose. Do you love them any less? Do you love them any more? No, you just love them and love them and love them. Anyway, it's hard to grasp the impact of those numbers. And you know, when they talk about taking drugs off the street, and you know, I have different opinions on that. Certainly, people should not profit from the illegality of dealing drugs. The sad point is, unfortunately, folks that get into the drug scene make it where it becomes extremely profitable. So, you know, obviously, if we had a situation where, you know, these drugs weren't desired by the general population, we really wouldn't have this problem. But we do, and we probably always will. So, my hat off to all the canine animals that help take some of the drugs off the street. Or at least if there were, and this is just a logical point, if no one took these drugs off the street and it was like they were there, all the folks that deal in drugs would have more to sell. And I'm not saying it's the economic, law of supply and demand, but certainly when Frida took all those drugs off the street that I mentioned, it probably did save some lives. Because, you know, especially now the economy has gotten messed up. And I'm not getting into the politics, but, you know, drugs are always going to be here, but people don't have as much money as they even had a year ago, I hate to say. But thank goodness we have Frida and so many dogs like her that help take some of these drugs off the street. Every kilo taken off the streets disrupts supply chains that fuel violence and addiction. Frida's work was a silent victory that saved countless lives. And I bet you 10-1, she knew that. I mean, you might say, oh, come on, she just, you know, enjoyed her being with her partner and she was doing what he wanted her to do. You got to recognize that dogs are a lot smarter, or animals in general, but dogs are a lot smarter than most of us give them credit. So I don't think she's just saying, well, this is a fun little toy that I just, with my handler, we just go out and find these toys and they say, good dog, good dog. No, I think she's she and all of these wonderful animals, a tribute, know what they're doing. You know, and let's face it, dogs and cats and other animals are just wonderful to us. And I just can't even say enough. I mean, I just love, and the more I do my animal channel, and yes, I have a coffee channel I'm not doing too much with, but the more I do with all the animal issues, the more I feel so wonderful of having them here. My Jamie, she's always there for us. And Jamie, if you haven't heard me before, is a 11-year-old Shih Tzu. And she's part of this channel. And I just love her to bits. My mother loved animals. So, you know, you certainly look at your history or background, and in a lot of cases you can say, yeah, my parents or my mother, my father, they were this and that, and it taught me all these things. Now, what was kind of neat is she did this for 8 years. And the sad point, in a sense, is that animals, and certainly I think this will get in and changed and improved, especially with AI and coming up with ideas or opportunities to give animals more of a lifespan. Now, I have no concrete evidence to say that's true, and maybe it's just very wishful thinking. But anyway, the final mission, after 8 years of unwavering service, the time had come for Frida to retire. In June of 2025, her final mission was to attend her own retirement party. Colleagues gathered to honor her legacy of bravery and caring. It wasn't a sad day, but a joyous one. Frida was showered with toys that, after a lifetime of discipline, she was finally allowed to tear up. You know, and again, these stories, how can you not get all excited if you don't like animals? That's a whole issue. But every day when I do these, it is my honor to present them to you. She even got her own cake, which she happily devoured. Now, the neat thing, as you know, they make cakes and they have pup cups that, if you go to a soft serve location or some of the other, establishments, they have special kind of like ice cream is good for dogs. So, people take them there and say, hey, I want this, and I want a pup cup for it if this was Frida was in the car with me. And they also make sweets, because I know, God bless, if you put a real cake, I mean just a human cake, they wouldn't go, oh, no, I can't have that. That's too much sugar or whatever. But the bottom line is, they make food like this that are for pets. So you're not like saying, well, it's only one day, it won't hurt them. Well, You don't want to give, especially if dogs can't eat chocolate. And I'm not sure exactly why. It's obviously the ingredients in chocolate or things they put in chocolate, just unfortunately is not, good for animals. So in that moment, the shop narcotics dog was gone, replaced by a carefree pet. And that's even neat too. If you can train, in this case, Frida, to do all these things of finding and looking and doing that for a long time, but then being able to, when it's time to change, they can change. So now you're seeing Frida, and this was her official transition from canine officer to a member of her handler's family. So this would be considered a new beginning. Frida's badge was officially traded for belly rubs. Her only job now is to be a dog. And she has earned every second of it. When a police canine retires, the handler almost always adopts them as their already family. Like the handler you saw, he was with her every day, and I'm pretty sure, as stated, a little bit reading between the lines, but that Frida would go home with her handler and have it where, she would be the dog at night with the family, as you can see, and a police officer during the day. So, and she did a damn good job. 8 years, again, German Shepherds is a thoroughbred. They might live, and again, you get into where they can have bad health and whatever, but they might live to 12 years, maybe 14 years, somewhere in that range. So if somebody says, well, you're only a police officer for 8 years, well, with Frida, that would be over half of her life. So she earned a little nice time with some good family. But the transition from a high drive working dog to a relaxed pet isn't always simple. Handlers often have to patiently detrain their partners, teaching them it's okay to relax. Now Frida's days are filled with the simple pleasures she couldn't have before. A soft bed, a yard to play in, and a family to love her, not for her job, but for the loving dog she is. Now, kind of in conclusion, Canine Frida's story is a powerful reminder of the silent heroes who work beside law enforcement. Her work made Houston a safer place, and her journey from fearless protector to beloved family pet is a testament to the incredible spirit of these animals. A hero's work is finally done. Anyway, I hope this has been short, only about 20 minutes. I'm not good at making these short, but I don't like to have it where you're saying, oh, gee, Jim's going to talk forever. But anyway, I want to thank you for watching. And hey, if you get a chance to subscribe, please do. It certainly helps. And we work at this every day. And even though it's an honor for me to do all these presentations, yeah, having it where you have the support of your subscribers is more than I can even describe to you. But stay well. And by the way, I don't usually get into current events, but with, the Mrs. Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother who, at least up to before I started this presentation, still has not been found. And I pray, because no one ever should be like in a situation like this. But when you're 84 and you've got medical problems and you have to take medication, it's just not good. And I know police-wise, they would certainly recognize that the longer it goes, it's potentially more of a problem for the mother. And I was in medical fields for 30 plus years as a respiratory therapist. The recognition, if I said, well, I'm going to kidnap an 84-year-old, thinking that, well, I'm going to take him wherever I am and I'm going to do a ransom note. When somebody like her at her age and the medication she does not have because they weren't logical or wise enough to say, we've got to make sure we don't end up losing our, our bribe point. So I pray, and I know you're praying too. Thank you again. And please stay well. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.